Hello and welcome to the Amateur Austenite. My name is Frances Duncan. I am an author and the founder of the Jane Austen Society of New Zealand. However, I am underqualified for my job as I am and have always been an enthusiastic amateur. Today we're going to be looking at chapter 27 of Pride and Prejudice, and as last week we have two guests today, my sister Paula.
Hi.
And my mother Brenda, who's playing the piano as background music for us. So, in chapter 27, Elizabeth leaves for Huntsford and visits London on the way, and the gardeners invite Elizabeth on a trip to the lakes, which we know will end up in Derbyshire.
Yes, it's quite exciting when you actually know what's coming, isn't it?
It is. It's all happened really quickly because it was only in the last chapter that Charlotte invited her to Huntsford and now she's on her way there. They do a passage of time at the start of this. It skips January and February and then it takes it on to March really quickly.
Yeah, but obviously it's not quick for Elizabeth. It's quick for us but not quick for Elizabeth, because to begin with she doesn't really want to go and see Charlotte and Mr. Collins.
True.
And then she talks about how it would be lovely to get away from her family.
And absence had increased her desire of seeing Charlotte again and weakened her disgust of Mr. Collins.
Yeah, disgust is quite a strong word, isn't it?
It really is.
Yeah.
I didn't think he was that bad.
No, but it makes me think about how it's kind of like in movies how you have those montages where time passes.
It's exactly like that.
Yeah, and Austen's done that. And if someone was doing, a movie of the lockdown at the moment, it's that same kind of thing, they do.
We are in the montage.
Yeah, we are in the middle of the montage. Yeah. Exactly.
So they add to the plan that they will go to London and get to see Jane. It says a peep at Jane, which is cute. And then the plan became perfect as plan could be, which I also think is just adorably cute.
It is.
We hear more about Wickham and his thoughts about Lady Catherine de Bourgh. And Lizzie, despite sort of giving up, she's convinced that whether married or single, he must always be her model of that amiable and pleasing.
Yeah, now that is the line that stuck out to me the most in this entire chapter. I mean, I don't remember this line before, because of course Wickham in my head is always the wicked Wickham, and I kind of had forgotten that
Lizzie likes him.
Yeah, and the fact that she liked him so much, her model, had just gone straight out of my head. So when I reread this, I sort of was a little bit in shock, I guess, and it made me, not think so well of Elizabeth. But that's just because I know more of his character than she did at that time.
Yeah, but she genuinely thinks that he likes her because she says about him pursuing Miss King, what occasion could be there for making love to a girl whom he did not care anything about and who was equally poor? But it makes it sound like she's saying he did care about me, that's why he was making love to me.
Yeah, exactly. Absolutely. Yeah, that's right.
I think one of the themes of this chapter is marrying for money. We've got Mr. Wickham's pursuit of Miss King and the Collins marriage, and it's interesting that they happen at the same time, and that Elizabeth can see one clearly but not the other. There's a bit of hypocrisy in there. She says, what is the difference in matrimonial affairs between the mercenary and the prudent motive?
Well, I don't know if she doesn't understand Charlotte. I think she just lost respect for her, but you're right, she doesn't lose respect for Wickham.
Yeah.
Yet she does with Charlotte.
Even though they're doing basically the same thing. I was reading this with the Jane Austen Society of New Zealand, and I'm sorry, I can't remember who, came up with a really interesting theory that what if Charlotte is Elizabeth's conscience? She is the rational voice and she doesn't contradict herself like Elizabeth does.
Yeah, I guess. You can see it that way. Elizabeth does take a risk in the way that she lives.
She does, and Charlotte's not one for risk-taking.
Yeah. Yeah, this is true.
So they're on the way to see the Collinses, and Elizabeth is stuck in the carriage with Sir William and Maria Lucas, who are listened to with about as much delight as the rattle of the chase. on the way to see who Mr. Collins, who she refers to as no sense to recommend him, and so she says, "Stupid men are the only ones worth knowing after all."
I love her. Elizabeth loved absurdities, but she had known Sir William's too long. Cracks me up.
Yeah. So they're talking about going on the trip to the lakes with the gardeners, and one of the best lines I think in the whole novel appears in this bit. "What are men to rocks and mountains?" I actually had that on my nails at one point. My beauty therapist has got a stamp which put that on there, and I think it's one of the beautiful lines from this book. In the 2005 adaptation, they have Mary Bennett say it, and they make it seem like it's a stupid thing to say. Because they always do. They like putting things in Mary's mouth and that and making them seem stupid, where they were in other characters' mouths in other adaptations and actually in the book.
Yeah. I liked the way in the musical adaptation of Pride and Prejudice, which was live streamed a couple of weeks ago, they had Mary do the announcing of the scene changes.
Because she doesn't have any lines otherwise.
Yeah, pretty much. And even just the way that she had been asked to do the scene changes made her look absurd, or the titles of the houses absurd. It was quite amusing. It was a very clever way to do it.
Poor Mary, she always gets a bit of a hard one, doesn't she?
Yeah. She's like the female version of Mr. Collins.
She is, which is why we're thinking that they could be a good marriage match, but actually they'd probably be terrible for each other and bring out each other's worst parts.
Well, it depends, I guess, if you think piety is a bad thing. And the love of sermons.
But you can be pious without being irritating as hell. I can't think of the correct word for it. Self-righteous?
Yeah, absolutely.
They would be self-righteous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the other marriage that's hinted at in this, of course, is Jane. And we know from having read it that, of course, she does go on to marry Bingley. And it's Bingley's withdrawal of affections and his sister's withdrawal of affections that are paramount in this part for Jane. And it's very sad that this has happened to her. Trying to find the quote, but now I can't. Oh, there were periods of dejection. It's really sad that this has happened to her when she's actually just such a sweet-natured person.
And I think because she's that sort of sweet-natured, it hurts her more.
Yeah.
I like somewhere else in the book where Mrs. Gardner says, "This should have happened to you, Elizabeth. You would have laughed yourself out of it sooner."
Yes. Well, it's kind of like the same thing with Wickham, isn't it? If that had happened to Jane, Jane would have
really felt it.
Yeah, whereas Elizabeth is a little more stoic and can see why he's done it and excuses his behaviour.
Though she won't excuse Charlotte's. She refuses to excuse Charlotte doing almost the exact same thing, though Charlotte doesn't go for quite as much money as Mr. Wickham does. Because Mr. Wickham's after £10,000. We don't know how much money Mr. Collins has, but it couldn't be more. So £10,000 is $500 a year, and I don't think Mr. Collins will be earning more than that.
No, it's never mentioned, is it?
It's not, surprisingly.
However, he does have the living, and he is next to Rosings, and those are the things that are spoken about, as well as the fact that he will, of course, inherit the house at the end, and that's really what Mrs. Bennet is focused on, the fact that she'll be turfed out.
And then he will get £2,000 a year.
Is that what Mr. Bennet has?
That's what Mr. Bennet has, about £2,000 a year in the estate. But so the clergyman got a tithe from the surrounding parishioners. I believe that's how it went. And that was a tenth of the income of the estate. So he could have been on £500 a year. That means that Lady Catherine would be making £10,000 a year. She'd be on at least that.
Yes.
At least.
Yeah, so it could have been a prudent marriage for Charlotte.
It was a prudent marriage for Charlotte, I think.
Yeah. Just not what Elizabeth wanted for her or for herself.
No, and I think that's a big thing. She's thinking a lot about what she would want for herself rather than what Charlotte would want for herself.
Yes. Yeah, and when you hear Elizabeth's words about Charlotte's father in this, you can see that they are quite different. They do come from quite different families as well, and that makes a big difference.
Did you have anything else to add?
The only thing that the very last thing that made me laugh was they're talking about going on their trip and talking about how when people come back from a trip
they can't remember.
Yes, and I thought, yeah, that is so true. Because our parents were having a discussion the other day about their trip to Las Vegas, and they were trying to remember when it was, and it was actually when the shooting happened, and so that was the only way that they could go back and work out when they were in Las Vegas, and then they were trying to work out where they'd been, and so it made me think of that and how it is so true. When you're there, you're in the middle of it and you're just so involved in it, and then you come back and it's all kind of muddled in your head, and people who haven't been there with you get quite frustrated as you sort of ramble on about things. And because Elizabeth is a little bit, not arrogant, it's probably too harsh a word, but she does like to think she's slightly better than others. Like she thinks she's better than Charlotte for not taking Collins as her husband or allowing him to take her as his wife.
That's probably the better way to say it.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, this sort of reflects her personality, thinking she'll be better than others when she comes back from her trip and able to tell them about it in a more coherent way.
And that is our summary of chapter 27 of Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen. My name is Frances Duncan. You can find me at francesduncanwrites.com and on Twitter at Frances_Duncan. Thank you for listening, and I wish you happy reading.